Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. So we have Kayla Johnson on the podcast today.
She was great.
Yeah, she was. Unfortunately, we did sound checks
Right.
and my mic.
And your dulcet tones didn't come through, and I was
I
clearly
yeah.
unusual.
It's
So
always
lose a little bit.
it's always a fear. And what's crazy is we did 8 episodes that day.
Yeah.
Everything was the same. And my mic on this episode only did
Right.
not pick up my voice, even though we did a sound check. But anyway, Kayla was great. She's Kayla Johnson Fitness, and she is rewriting the rules of midlife. We loved her energy, and sorry about my mic, but we're definitely going to have her back because she was a great guest, and we learned so much having her on the episode. So we hope you enjoy it.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Kayla Johnson, welcome to the Vagina Doctor Podcast. It's great to have you here with us today.
It is so exciting to be here live and
In person's always better.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We share a lot of patients, I think, and certainly the same demographic, trying to push women's health forwards and more accurately. You own Kayla Johnson Fitness,
I do.
and you're a fitness expert, entrepreneur, women's wellness advocate, and you're committed to empowering individuals, especially women, to achieve their fitness goals and embrace a balanced, sustainable lifestyle. Sounds perfect.
Every time I
Right.
get interviewed, I love hearing that back, if I'm being honest.
Great.
Yeah,
Good,
I
you
love
should.
it. That is
Yeah.
what I'm doing.
That's why I read it. So I want to go, those
Yeah.
things I want to be precise about. So it's really good. So how did you get started? You've been in the fitness business for a long time.
I've been in the fitness industry for 32 years. I'm going to try to give you the Cliff Note version.
We've got
I was-
lots of time.
we have lots of time.
Just- just-
I was a dancer my whole life.
oh, okay.
And when I was 18 years old, I found myself teaching group fitness, step aerobics for the step
Yeah.
enthusiasts. Fell in love with group fitness because of community that was built, and I never looked back. I moved to Santa Barbara almost 19 years ago, which I cannot believe. Single mom, 4, 7, and 9-year-old. So I guess you could say out of necessity, invention was born. Kayla Johnson Fitness was born then.
Yeah.
A bit of a serial entrepreneur. I didn't know that about myself at the time. I've created 4 fitness businesses here locally, and I do this now full time. So I just sold my spin studio, Star Cycle, which is in La Cumbre. I sold that about 6 months ago, and it was really during COVID that I transitioned into this space. I was 44. I'm remarried. My little spin studio that I opened in March of 2019. We all know what happened in the spring of 2020. Doors were closed, and I was not going down without a fight. So I was 44 years old. I was in the throes of perimenopause. This is so embarrassing. I say it's embarrassing every time because I really, truly believe that it is now. I thought it was just this word that was floating out in outer space for old ladies.
Yeah.
Like I really did. That's the honest truth. Never in my wildest imagination did I think that my hormones were fluctuating. I think I thought I was going to like limbo under menopause. I don't know. I thought I was going to evade it somehow. So I found myself in this space really struggling. However, I was a small business owner in the throes of chaos with COVID. We have my husband and I now, I'm remarried. We have 6 children. We brought 5 of those 6 kids home. It was like endless TikToks and alcohol at 3:00 in the afternoon and food we shouldn't be eating. So gaining weight was par for the course, unfortunately, for a lot of people. Waking up in the middle of the night with anxiety. I'm not somebody who's anxious. Even during COVID, I wasn't somebody who was anxious. And I just woke up in these about 2:55 a.m., 3 a.m., 3:05 a.m., blaming all of this on what was happening in the world. So what I recognized is a lack of support. This is almost 4.5 years ago. And I just thought, wow, there's such a lack of education, a lack of community, a lack of support. I'm somebody who leads from the front. And I found myself suffering in silence. And I think that happened to me because I was in fitness. It was embarrassing to be struggling. It really was. So I did that denial dance for a year. And my mom wasn't talking to me about it. My doctor sure as heck wasn't talking to me about it. Nobody was talking about it. Friends weren't talking about it. It was very strange. Just nobody was talking about it. And if there were murmurings of weight gain, it was COVID's fault. That was just the space I was caught in during those first perimenopausal years for me. Yeah, so it was just really challenging. So I did that dance for about a year, and then I realized I should probably get my hormones sorted. So I did that first, praying to the gods that it was going to take care of belly fat. Didn't happen. I felt better. I wasn't going to tear people's heads off. And I started sleeping again and all the things that hormone replacement therapy does for us. But I just struggled. I just realized that I got to reframe things. At the time, I was teaching 13 spin classes a week. So if I can leave your audience with a bit of advice, if you're in perimenopause or menopause, that is a recipe for disaster. So I was just I was doing the weight training. I found myself in the weight room at 19. I followed a really cute boy in there and I stayed in there because I felt strong. Never did I think I was making deposits right into the retirement account of 80-year-old Kayla. I just stayed there because I liked how I felt. So I was weight training. I never stepped away from it. But all of that redundant cardio, I own the business, was just keeping me stuck. So
The overtraining.
Oh, the overtraining
is so bad.
But let's talk about this for a second. And maybe Karen, you can relate to this. When you're stuck and nothing's working, you double down.
Yeah.
You think I have to move more and I have to eat less. And that gets us even more stuck. So I had to go back to the drawing board. I wasn't a 30-year-old trainer anymore. I had to go back to the drawing board and figure out, what do we need to do in midlife to restructure this for women, starting with me. I'm going to save my own ass first, and then I'm going to be able to pay it forward. And I just realized that I was going to have to throw on a weighted vest and hit the streets.
Yeah.
And it took me so long to accept that. I'm a recovering cardio addict. It's just what I've done my whole entire adult life.
I think it's the age group we're in, we are that for sure. And overtraining.
Overtraining.
And the stigma of what a woman should look like. Sports Illustrated model.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
The catwalk girl.
Skinny over strong for sure.
Yes. Right.
Yeah. And we bought an infrared sauna. This is going to sound ridiculous, but we bought an infrared sauna so I could sweat.
We had one of those too.
Yeah. I love it. But I was like, how am I going to circumvent this? I literally have to change this behavior.
Yeah.
And I did, and I told my husband, who's so on board and so supportive, I was like, okay, we have to start walking. He's like, okay, great. What's the plan? We just have to start walking. I don't know. That's what I'm learning is I have to do the zone 2 cardio thing, which is crazy. I'm now the old lady walking the streets, but here we are. He's 56, I'm 49. And for 6 months, he pulled me out of the house
Walk.
for a 2-mile walk. Is that silly? Pulled me out of the house. He's like, this is what you said we're doing. This is what we're doing. And now it's sacred.
Oh, absolutely.
It's sacred. It's time together. It's uninterrupted. It's literally the best. But it took me that long to yield.
Now, would you say that's your cardio now is walk, or your cardio replacement is your walk?
So that's a great question. I still teach at the spin studio. I do it because I love it. And I talk with my clients about this.
And your clients love you. They want you to
Absolutely.
following of people.
Absolutely. But we talk about this because I like to have 2 separate conversations with clients. Let's talk about what's going to maximize results. And let's talk about what's going to bring you joy, because joy matters. Joy is going to give you sustainability. It's going to give you consistency. I love that 45-minute candlelit beat down in that spin room with those people. I love it. It's soul giving. Is it the best recipe for a woman on the edge of menopause? Probably not. I teach 4 classes a week. I'm going down to 3. To answer your question, 4 to 5 days a week of weight training at 30 minutes and walking. Yeah, in the evenings with the weighted vest.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's my routine now. So anyway, long story short, see, can't give a Cliff Note version even if I tried.
It's not.
So
No, it's not. And also,
even if I tried.
what's fascinating about it too is the time of COVID.
Yeah.
I think it brought everyone to a place of realization. In our office, I've said it a million times. I got so busy with people,
Yes.
sexual health, people splitting up,
Mhm.
new partner. This doesn't work anymore. People staying together. We're going to stay together. We need to work on our sex life. We were sneaking into the office, doing
Love
as
it.
much as we could, masked, safe, of course. But it was such a time of discovery.
Yeah, it really was.
It was really great in that. There was so much bad connection.
I know. And it's funny that you say that because you're right. This is my silver lining.
Yeah.
Because it pivoted me into this space. Not only did I end up on Zoom, which that was hysterical. I'd never been on Zoom for a day in my life, and all of a sudden the whole world was on Zoom. But I realized that my reach could get so far outside of Santa Barbara. Now I'm all over the country. I'm international just in 4 years. And I've been able to, I had this moment of, it sounds silly, but I was like, wow, all this time in the industry, all the things that I've done got me ready for this. This is where I'm supposed to be in this moment with women who need this kind of support.
And that happens a lot for women later in life,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and you don't realize.
Which is exciting.
Yeah, when you're struggling in your 30s or even your 20s, when you're working so hard in your 20s, you don't realize that, oh, there's still this next chapter way down the road where I'm going to be really what I'm going to be.
Yep.
And going back to that same thought is what you said previously, that girls that are younger, they have no idea what's coming. They don't even care. We have girls that work in our office. They're adorable. I love them. Late 20s, early 30s. I love them. Right? But they look at this whole thing like it's not going to happen to them.
Youth is wasted on the young.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
That was me too.
yeah.
Even at 44.
Yeah. You're like, this is, I know, but it's,
Yeah.
No, it's weird. And I say to them, you guys are going to think of us later on.
Oh, they're going to be so grateful. Yeah, they're going to be so grateful. I have women because my marketing is like women over 35. That's my threshold. And I'll get women who are like at 32 and they're like, will you please work with me? I'm like, yes, I absolutely will. And I explained to them when we finally have a chance to get on the phone and connect, you're my favorite.
Yeah.
Let's get ahead of it.
Yes.
Like I have a 28-year-old, I have a 23-year-old, I have a 25-year-old, all girls. And they're not moms. And that was metal. And I'm already talking to them about all these years. They follow me on social, so they know I'm talking about it. But like, I had no clue what was coming down the pike. I'm somebody who takes really good care of myself. I have shown up to my fitness every single day of my life. I've never stepped away from it. And to be in this space and to struggle. And it's not to say that the struggle isn't there. The struggle is probably going to show up in some way, but we can get around it. And I have to say, I was terrified to turn 40. Which is weird because I'm not a birthday person. So on the year of 39, I don't know what that was about for me, but I was just terrified to turn 40. I turn 50 next month and I'm so excited. I'm my best. Yeah. Best body, best brain. Yeah. So great. It's really cool to step into this new decade feeling like I'm where I'm supposed to be.
I think it's really important to look at the decades ahead, to be prepared for those.
Yes.
Because you can look at, okay, what do I want to be able to do when I'm 50, 60, 70, 80? But I need to start preparing for that now. Actually, for me, I'm behind the game now. I've got to look at the 90s. But you got to look at your life and think, okay, what do I want to be able to do 5 years' time, 10 years' time, 20 years' time? It's a matter of being prepared. And because you may get to that point and yeah, you wish you could do those things, but you're not able to because you didn't plan on it previously. And I think that it's really good to just look ahead a decade at a time and say, okay, what do I want to be doing? Okay, I want to be able to pick up my grandchildren. Okay, or I want to be able to crawl around on the floor with them
or
a little
I want
slowly.
to be able to have sex with my partner. About that.
I love that too.
Absolutely. And so it's a matter of thinking sensibly, logically, that not just wishing and hoping for it.
Yeah.
But I'm preparing a talk for another presentation, and I'm saying the same thing about plan the decades and so on, and include sex. So I actually put that out into one of my slides.
As you should. That grabs everybody's attention.
Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. But there are so many things that if you don't prepare for them, you're not going to be there. Going back to your 40 birthday, or not wanting to see that, as a kid, I always heard everything falls apart when you're 40. And for me, the only thing that changed when I was 40 was I needed glasses.
Love it.
But it was at 70 when it fell apart. It's just, and I've been a competitive athlete for decades as a kid and beyond that, and kept on playing some sort of sport into 40s or 50s. But I just wasn't prepared for this other change that happened. I really don't like exercise.
You don't?
I don't. I love competition.
Okay.
I hate exercise.
That's fair.
Okay. And I will work at something to achieve a goal, but I don't I can't honestly say I enjoy it. But it was, for me, it was 70 when wait a minute.
Isn't that cool that you can host a podcast and put yourself in a situation to where you can just get educated?
Oh,
I love
gosh,
that.
yes.
That's the podcasts are the best.
Yeah.
It's so
I've
great.
learned so much.
You learn
doing
so
this.
much. And it's like bite-sized snippets because we all have attention deficit. Absolutely. And then you're talking about it.
Similar to what
Yeah.
you do, you know what I mean? Like I have all this to share now.
Yeah, it's comprehensive.
Belly fat. Let's go to belly fat. So what did you end up doing for belly fat?
That's an awesome question. I didn't know what I was going to do. What I knew is, so I finally pared everything back, started doing more zone 2 cardio, took myself off of all those spin classes, upticked the weight training, really held myself accountable to progressive overloading, like not just going in, mailing it in, but just like really showing up to it. My nutrition's always been on par. I completely cut out alcohol. I was in panic mode, to be clear. So I was doubling down. I've never been a calorie restrictor, so I wasn't being that silly, but it was very restrictive. I wouldn't have thought of eating pizza or a cheeseburger. I was just off the table because I had never in my life had been out of control when it came to weight gain. And I just had weight everywhere. It was like a perimenopause sweater. So it was belly fat, but there was cellulite on my knees. It was on my back. It was on my arms. It was so wild. I had no idea what I weighed. I didn't need a scale to tell me that my jeans didn't fit. And I don't believe in bathroom scales anyway. So I actually was sent a podcast from a client. I love brain health. And so she said, this is really interesting. They're microdosing a GLP-1 peptide for dementia. I'm like, what the hell is a microdose? Mushrooms, obviously, but what's a microdose? What's a microdose of a GLP-1? So anyway, I'll never forget, I was in Mexico feeling as fat as ever. I'm sorry that I use that word, but I'm just being honest. That's how I felt. Okay. Yeah. And I'm sure people would look at before pictures of me and think, oh, you looked great, but it's all relative and it belongs to you. Yeah. So I just have to say that. So anyway, I was on vacation with my family in Mexico. I had to buy all new clothes for because nothing fit me. And I'm listening to this podcast. We're all in the gym, weight training. And I just sat down. I just started listening to this doctor talking about microdosing a GLP-1 peptide and perimenopause. And she was literally telling my story. I've never had that happen before when I've listened to somebody literally tell my story. And I was like, she's talking about Ozempic. What is happening? So I was always a fan of Ozempic. I have a lot of people who've been in the spin studio who've utilized it. Obese. It was an obesity diabetic medication. It was in this lane. I don't typically train or coach women who are in that category. So I didn't research it. It was just sitting over here. I wasn't using it in my practice. So when I started to have the conversation locally in Santa Barbara, so anyway, long story short, I went into clinical research on it. I wanted to really understand like why it's helping with dementia, why we're using it in perimenopause. And that's when I realized that insulin resistance was a thing. I had no idea that that was a thing in perimenopause, and all the alarms were going off because I knew my blood sugars were high. I knew it was like everything was connecting because there wasn't one stone left unturned, to be clear. From a lifestyle perspective, it wasn't like if I stopped drinking a bottle of wine every night, there was nothing that I could have done from a lifestyle perspective. So anyway, I went down a rabbit hole of research and then I knew I needed to get my hands on it. So I started locally in Santa Barbara and that was horrible. 2 doctors dismissed me because I kept calling it Ozempic. I didn't know what to say. And then one told me I had body dysmorphia. Yes. And one tried to write me a prescription for antidepressants. Right. Yeah. Judgment. So I'm grateful for this one doctor who told me I had body dysmorphia. He put me on the in-body scan, the body composition scan, and he and I had a nice fight about it before. I said, doctor, with all due respect, I don't need your in-body scan to tell me that I'm fat. My pants don't fit, and that's all I care about. If you don't want to help me with a microdose, because this is what he was doing locally. He no longer lives here, but he was actually doing microdoses of it. He's the only one I could find that was doing a microdose at the time. This was almost 2 years ago. And he said, no, I'm going to prove to you how low your body fat is. I'm just going to prove it to you. So after we fought about it, I'm like, forget it. So of course I was mortified by the numbers, but you know why I'm so grateful? I would have never stepped on a scale. And now I have the before. Yeah. So in 7.
Was he telling you were okay, even though
you have more lean muscle than I do. I could show you a picture of it. All the markings he did on it. And I walked out of that office holding back tears. And I went to crumple it up. You can still see it on the paper. InBody prints it out. And I was going to throw it in the trash. And I thought, nope, you're smarter than this. You're going to figure this out. When people tell you you're crazy, you're onto something. So you're going to figure this out. Hold the line. And then the most magical thing happened. I found this doctor in Beverly Hills. It was crazy. I was hosting a perimenopause seminar at my spin studio. Because it was like, we're educating, we're doing this. I hosted a lunch, I brought him in, and he was microdosing GLPs. So I was actually able to sit. He was the first prescribing doctor for me. And I was actually able to sit with him and really understand the nuances of it. And then he helped me with prescriptions. It was just amazing. But anyway, I had that first body scan, which was so valuable. So
he was saying you're not overweight. The guy, doctor.
The doctor that did the body scan for me? Oh, yeah.
Even though you were horrified by your numbers, he was saying, you're fine.
You have body dysmorphia. You have body dysmorphia. My body fat was 20%. I forget what my lean muscle was. And he kept saying, you have more lean muscle than me. My favorite is when I paid a concierge doctor here locally a lot of money who told me I was going to get used to my menopause weight in 5 years. That was the advice I got.
I've heard that.
I was like, you're fired. And that's terrible advice. And if that's what you're telling women who come in to see you when you're a menopause specialist, that is such a disservice.
Yeah.
That is so defeating. So anyway, 7 months later, I got my body back. I wasn't anybody new. I microdosed semaglutide at first, and then I switched to tirzepatide. I lost all body fat. So I went from 20% body fat to 12. And it was 20 pounds of body fat. And I held on to all my lean muscle, which is paramount.
Well, how did you do that? What did you change with your exercise?
Being compliant. Exactly what I remember I said to you. I had dialed all of that in before I even went into the world of GLP. That was all very much kismet because I knew I had to dial all of that back. But the way that everything went, like I was on HRT, hormone replacement therapy for a year. Like I really had the foundational pieces so sound, which is what I preach now. So when I'm working with clients, the foundation has to be there. Yeah. Weight training, to answer your question, weight training 4 to 5 days a week for 20 to 30 minutes, nothing crazy. I have so much time back. It's wild. And then walking. So every once in a while, I'll jump on DMs on Instagram and I'll get on the treadmill at the gym every once in a while instead of just sitting in a chair. But mainly it's just that 2-mile walk at night. And then of course I have those spin classes, which are honestly probably keeping me stuck a little bit. It's pretty intense. That 45-minute, just like, you can barely breathe the entire time you're on that bike. It's so hard.
Yeah. I just eat everything.
It never gets easier. It's crazy. So I had all of those lifestyle pieces in place. I went back to food journaling. I haven't food journaled in so many years, but I went back to food journaling to keep myself honest, to make sure I was maintaining my protein numbers, make sure I was maintaining my fiber numbers, hydrating like it was my job. And I'll never forget when I put the pair of jeans back on. And they were almost even a tiny bit loose. Like they fit me so proper. I wasn't anybody different. I was just me again.
Yeah. And our listeners might think you are rail thin. And I just want to say that you are not rail thin with your 12% body fat.
I know. Thank you. I am not rail thin.
You have a very athletic,
and
a healthy, beautiful physique.
Thank you. Yeah. And what's funny about the GLPs, and I'm sure we can get into a little more depth in this, is I love that everyone thinks they're a cheat code. It's the craziest thing I've ever heard. I'm over here working my butt off. It is, they don't work by themselves. And as a doctor, they're an absolute detriment when not used correctly. So it's so funny to me. I'm just doing all the same things I was doing. This just allowed my body to reset. So grateful. You know what I think is so interesting is we'll applaud Susie down the street for losing 80 pounds, right? Cheerlead that all day long. And then a woman who's working her tail off, who's in perimenopause or menopause, who's insulin resistant, and she has this weight that just won't budge. And all of a sudden, how dare she? It's vanity weight. How dare she utilize something like a GLP-1 peptide? The judgment, women against women in this space is wild to me.
I agree.
Wild. It's so unfortunate.
I've seen a lot of patients, perimenopausal and postmenopause, who went to a female gynecologist with these symptoms and found them very unsympathetic. And that's contrary to what you'd expect, but it's almost the rule. That female physician isn't more understanding and sensible. In fact, it is get on with it.
Yeah, there's a lot of eye rolling.
Oh, the stories that I hear, because I talk to so many women in so many different states, it blows my mind.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe it's 2025, which is why we're so grateful for doctors like you.
Are you still doing like a static dosing, or have you?
So I take breaks from it. We're on a lot of peptides now.
Yeah.
I try to girl math it.
What are you
It gets
doing?
crazy.
What other peptides are you
So
doing?
I am on Testmorelin, Ipmorelin, and that is it's a precursor to human growth hormone. And
Is it an injection?
I do all injectables. Yeah. And then the Ipmorelin helps with visceral
And
fat. So this is a
frankly-
cool one.
Frankly, the only way to do the peptides is by
Thank
injection.
you. Is by injection. You heard it here first
Yeah, I
from the
just wanted to
expert.
make sure.
Yes, yes. No, I just want to point that out for our listeners because I get this question often. And thank you, Dr. Turner, for saying that injection is just the way to go. And then BPC 157, TB 500 I love it, for gut support and recovery. GHKCU, skin, hair, nails. NAD. Love NAD. So I'm cycled right now. So I do 8-week cycles. I cycle off for 30 days. So right now I'm cycled off of NAD and BPC 157. And not to sound psychosomatic, but I feel it. I feel that cycle off. I can't wait to go back on.
Do you look at blood work?
Every 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do that too. In
Yeah.
semaglutide practice.
Peptide world is, and it's the GLP journey for me just opened up the door to all that was there. I had no idea. I knew peptides existed. They felt so untouchable. It felt more for the elite. And not to say that they're cheap. They're not cheap by any stretch. It's definitely an investment, but I was thinking it was going to cost me $20,000 a month to get my hands on peptides. And my husband got involved, obviously, as he watched my journey. So it's just really, it's so awesome to utilize these peptides for biohacking and for anti-aging purposes. It's pretty awesome.
We have a new physician in our practice who specializes in regenerative medicine.
Cool.
And so although we have only been doing semaglutide or tirzepatide so far, he's changing that picture because he's getting busy very quickly.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's
Yeah, you should meet him.
I know. I would love to meet him.
You guys
It's,
chat about-
I can put something up about GHKCU on Instagram and I'll have 100 comments. People want to know how these things are working. I don't know. You're following me. Are you following me on social? Did you see my husband?
Yes.
My husband's face.
Yes.
So it's not funny. Why am I laughing? Sorry, Mike. The ladder broke from the treehouse. We had this really old treehouse in our avocado tree, and the ladder, he was up there picking avocados, and it broke, and he went face first into the rocks.
Oh my God.
He broke his nose, had huge black eyes. He had so many lacerations on his face. It looked like he went through barbed wire because it was just those really sharp rocks. Thank goodness he kept his teeth. We put him on GHKCU immediately. He was already on BPC. It's gone. It's 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
You can't even see anything. The healing,
is,
it's remarkable. So anyway,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
No, it is. I think all these things are fascinating, yet they still come with that sort of fear story because they're not FDA approved, right, or cleared.
correct.
Well, I guess semaglutide.
Yes, for metabolic disease and
Mhm.
for
Yeah.
weight management now. But that's recent, and it's the only one.
Yep.
And then the BPC was for a bit,
Yeah.
but then
It went away and then came back.
Yeah, we still have the ability to do these off-label applications.
Yes.
So it's
And the source, that's what matters, is that you're getting them physician prescribed from a
Right.
credible source. You're not
Right.
out there in the gray market getting your hands on research peptides that are clearly labeled not for human consumption. That blows my mind. We don't have to go down that rabbit hole, but you're getting them from a credible source. So to speak to what you said a few moments ago, that's who's popping into my DMs, which is really fun. I'm meeting myself over and over again, 5, 10, 15, 20 pounds, literally insulin resistant. It's so obvious. Lack of energy, low libido, weight gain's not going away. I'm doing all the things. And I created a program specifically for these women. So it's I call it a 90-day accountability program I support for an entire year. I realized that, especially if we're going to start to utilize peptides, that requires just some maintenance and just making sure that we're doing all the things and not falling off of our lifestyle piece. So the first thing I like to do with women is lay the foundation. And so I stress to them the importance of the foundational work. Most women are just like I was. For the longest time in my career, I didn't lack empathy. I never struggled.
Mhm.
And I've never seen anything like midlife. It just levels the playing field. And it just has given me such an empathy for where women are because I went through it. The struggle was so real. So getting them to understand what I had to understand, we have to pare back the cardio. We have to uptick the weight training. Even though you think that you're eating properly, we got to track it and see what we're doing. And then we got to do body composition measurements, right? We got to figure out where's our lean muscle, where's our body fat. Who cares what a bathroom scale is telling us? It's not telling us what's happening in the body. And then we go to work. So what I do is one-to-one coaching. It's extremely individualized. It's within the context of their own health, right? We're not cookie cutters. It's not a one size fits all. And I work within the parameters of their lifestyle. So I let women know it's a 90-day education about you. And ultimately, isn't that what you want? Don't you want to know what makes your body work and what you're going to respond to? It's not a one size fits all. So it's a labor of love for sure. And I meet with them every single week on Zoom for the first 90 days. The results are tremendous in 90 days. It is wild how far we can move the needle in 90 days. And then I see them monthly for the rest of the year. And it's just been so, I've helped almost 1,000 women now. It's just been so fun. Yeah.
Where do hormones come into it from your point of view in terms of?
Immediately.
Okay.
So that's part of what I do. Thank you for that question. That's part of what I do. And I explain to them, listen, I'm not a doctor. I do have a concierge physician who helps me. And I have nurse practitioners who will do things like Dutch tests or things like that if we want to utilize that. But I love to give women the language to go into their own market with their insurance, with their provider. I would say it works like 90% of the time. I actually role play with them. Okay. And I say, do not say your coach said. Say you've done your research. And this is how I'm feeling. And I have it documented and go in with notes so they take you seriously. And this is what you want. Be very respectful, but very direct about what it is that you want. And 90% of the time it works. I prefer going that route with women instead of connecting them with telehealth. I still think that being able to see somebody live and in person is probably your best chance. But you know what? Some women don't have that chance. I hear crazy stories. I've heard a doctor in San Francisco called HRT snake oil in 2025. I was like, what? Actually, it was Marin County. I'm like, that is bananas to me. So I hear awful stories, but that's what I work with women on and explain to them. Again, not a physician. That's not my lane, but hormonal optimization is so critically important.
It all goes together.
It all goes. It's just an ingredient to the recipe. Yeah. It's just an ingredient.
It's a crucial part of it.
Yes.
It's very hard to do it without that.
Yep.
But I'm impressed that your success rate of the clients that you're talking about working through their general provider is at 90%, because I don't see that a lot. I see the results with my patients, sure, but so much of the time I'll be seeing patients just for a routine annual exam. These are postmenopausal patients who are on HRT and been on it for years, and they say, my doc is still telling me I need to get off this. It's going to give me breast cancer. Somebody told me something the other day that was very interesting to me, and I'm not sure how accurate this is, but it's frightening if it is. And it was that when the Women's Health Initiative study came out in 2002 and frightened everybody, that actually the curriculum for medical schools and residency programs changed and took hormone replacement therapy off the agenda. And so there are a bunch of physicians now who never got that training and that information. If you got through all that program before 2000, you learned it. And for 20 years after, you didn't. And so even younger physicians are saying it's going to give you cancer. It's ridiculous.
It's crazy town.
So the question that I have, is that really true that the curriculum of medical education changed? I don't know. But certainly the results of primary care physicians and gynecologists just trying to persuade patients not to do this or do the bare minimum for even from the most prestigious organizations that are supposed to be these powerhouses of information relative to menopause are still saying, take as low a dose as possible for as short a time as possible. And it's this is the rest of your life.
Absolutely.
Okay. So it's frustrating, but.
And to be clear, sorry to interrupt you, I'm saying like they're getting these prescriptions begrudgingly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like that
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
just
yeah.
going in there so assertive because they've had some coaching on how to take care of themselves.
Yeah.
But the prescriptions are being written like, oh, that was a fight, or the stories I get back in return are not.
Yeah.
I'm like, then maybe you educated that doctor. I don't know. Maybe. But this is what's it. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
We live in an information society.
Yeah.
Okay. I recognize I'm in an echo chamber. That's fair. Okay. I recognize that. Okay. But isn't there enough information out there now
Oh, yeah.
that if you've decided as a profession that you're going to care for women postpartum, that you should probably get hip to what's happening?
Completely.
It's really frustrating. Not to be
one-
disrespectful, but I think it's crazy.
One of the problems is that in this country, obstetrics and gynecology, as in a lot of relatively liberal countries, are in the same profession. And yes, they're all dealing with women, but the difference between looking after a patient in their reproductive years as opposed to afterwards is night and day. And patients in this country will go to an obstetrician through pregnancy and labor and delivery, and they'll go back again, and then they will stay with that physician, routine gynecology. What you have is OBGYNs dealing with routine stuff that really doesn't require their expertise. But for that same reason, those physicians are not having a lot of experience with high-risk cases or complicated cases. So you've got OBGYNs who are essentially primary care physicians, and good for them to be there. That's fine. But there's all this knowledge, all of this information that pertains to menopause as well. That it's just women will spend more than half of their adult life post-menopause. And we're getting to a point where they'll be spending more than half of their total life post-menopause. And do they just want to give up once they've stopped menstruating? Probably not. They want to continue to live. So it's really much more attention needs to be given to this. But even the ivory towers are just not getting there yet. And one particular, and this is a sad fact, but shows how things can change so much. When the Women's Health Initiative study was stopped and estrogen got the rap for this, a number of women who were just on estrogen, who had hysterectomies for one reason or another, they were only on estrogen. They were not taking progesterone. So nothing in that study indicated they should change. But because estrogen was the bad player here, in the opinion of the interpretation, incorrectly interpreted, a lot of those women just stopped taking their estrogen entirely. And there are estimated to be 97,000 women who died earlier than they would have if they had not stopped it.
Because of
Cardiovascular disease. That's what I was just going to ask.
Exactly. Yeah.
How sad.
Yeah.
It's just so sad to me.
Even
Okay, go on.
and testosterone is helpful also.
Yeah.
But there is no FDA approved testosterone for women. We use it.
I still take it.
Yeah. So there's a lot of education that still needs
Yeah.
to go on. But fortunately, there are people like yourself and patients generally say, oh, wait a minute, I want more than this. The good things that happened relative to COVID and in that timing, and it was purely coincidence. But 4 years before COVID started, there was a technology that arrived in this country. It was actually technology that was already here, but it was a fractional CO2 laser. It was used for facial skin resurfacing and so on. Some Italian gynecologists thought, if this works on the skin, maybe it'll help in the vagina for genitourinary syndrome of menopause, which actually hadn't even got a name at that point. And they created this laser that was for use in the vagina to treat atrophic vaginitis, which is thinning, painful, uncomfortable symptoms and bladder infections and so on. And anyway, that technology arrived 2015 in this country and then stimulated these treatments, rejuvenation treatments for pelvic rejuvenation. And that tied into COVID, people having to be at home more or looking elsewhere, they paid attention to this. So we were really busy during the COVID years of doing vaginal rejuvenation procedures.
Yeah,
it was cool.
menopausal medicine.
Yeah.
Definitely. But just connecting the cardio thing, do you think now everything's shifted to weight training, okay, do less cardio. What does that do to cardiovascular? What is your opinion on that? Is walking best or without a weighted vest? Because people structurally, what do you think?
Yeah, I had that exact thought. I'm like, wait a second, aren't we needing to pay attention to our cardiovascular health? And the research tells us that zone 2 cardio does that.
It does.
Yes. And I get into zone 2 when I'm weight training.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm moving, mainly because I want to just get it done with. But
that's the best thing about high intensity interval training.
Right?
Yeah,
it's over so quick.
Yeah, really. It's what I love. I'm done with this in 30 minutes.
And there is a lot of research. I don't do it because I don't like it, but there is a lot of research to be had about HIIT training, high intensity interval training, like an 8 to 10 minute workout where you get that heart rate really high for 20 or 30 seconds and then bring it down for a minute, which I'm sure would help tremendously with cardiovascular health. But the research is telling us that we don't need to be doing that bone pounding cardio to get those benefits.
And the number of steps seems to be decreasing now in terms of recommendation.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the whole step.
I'm a walking perimenopause meme. Down to the pink weighted vest. I know. I have clients ask me that all the time. I'm like, let's just figure out where you are. Can we just figure out where you are? Let's just track your steps in general. Let's just figure out where you are, and then we'll build from there. It's about progressive overload. Yeah. And not about doing more just for the sake of doing more. Yeah.
Right. I know. I have friends that they go back out again to get the 10,000 steps.
Walk up and down their driveway.
Yeah, exactly. They do loops around their
at 11:45 at night. I have a client. She's so cute. She lives on the East Coast and she's just funny. She's a dentist and she's just type A, which it takes one to know one. And I just was 11:30 at night. I was just walking up and down my stairs. I'm like, can we not? Your rest is probably way more important than you walking up and down your stairs in your weighted vest. And it's hard for us type A women to accept that the recovery piece, again, an ingredient in the recipe, is just as important. All these ingredients in this recipe are important. You can't leave the eggs out of the cake. You have to do all the things. And taking recovery time for me, it's hard. It took me, like I said, months and months and months to just accept that I wasn't doing a 45-minute to an hour super, because I was a runner as well. So I spent my whole young adult life doing half marathons, which I should have never been doing. I just spent all my time in a PT office. And I have to say that by the time women find me, they're pretty dizzy. Yeah, they've realized that they're in perimenopause or postmenopausal even, and now they're swimming and take this supplement and try this protein shake and don't do this, but do that. And it's all.
What have you found about the perimenopausal woman still cycling regularly? Not bicycling.
I got you.
Menstrual cycle.
I got you.
And because their blood levels may be fine.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's probably not fine for them.
No.
Okay. Because they're still in range. We don't have the levels for them. What have you found about adjusting either their hormones or their exercise or their diet before they are really in the difficult throes of menopause? I'm saying before they are actually postmenopause. Menopause is a moment in time.
Yeah.
Because 12 months.
It's a day.
It's a day.
Isn't it day 366?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. What's your experience with that?
So the majority of women that come to me are perimenopausal. Okay. I'm in that same boat, still cycling. The education is so fun because that's why I thought there was nothing happening with me because I had a regular cycle. Yeah. I think that's a very common thought. And to the education that your physician's what I always love is my blood work is normal. Huh. I'm like, that's okay, great. And don't want to argue with you. That's great. So let's talk about how you're feeling. 8:00 in the morning, I have crazy anxiety. My hair is falling out. I have plantar fasciitis. I have brain fog. And I have belly fat out of nowhere. I'm like, you're right. You're not in perimenopause. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And so I just give them the education that a really good OBGYN is going to say to you, you know what? Your blood work is going to be erratic. What it shows on Wednesday is going to be different on Friday. It's like an EKG right now in perimenopause, like chasing the dragon. I hear what you're saying. And all of these symptoms lead to the fact that you're in perimenopause and we should probably start you on a low level of some hormone replacement therapy. So it's just giving them, because I needed the same education. I just had to do it by myself. But just giving women that education, because you do assume that's not where you are because you still have a cycle and because you're 42. or 43, but you have all these other things that have come out of nowhere. And I think we live very full lives, especially a busy working mom. And it's just easy to cast those symptoms onto something else.
And we had a Spanish horse bio. She's great. She said if you go see your doctor and he tells you your labs are fine, get a new doctor.
Yep. Or normal's my favorite. I love normal.
Your labs look great. Your labs look great. Get a new doctor.
Yeah.
Not looking deep enough.
No. And talk about not validating women.
Yeah.
It's just they get gaslit.
Aside from what you just said about gaslit, but I do see some males, and they're usually people that I'm already looking after their partner, but sometimes they're just very interested in coming in and longevity and talking and so on. And the common story is, I'm really concerned about my testosterone level. I went to see my urologist or my family doctor, and he told my levels, and my levels are fine for my age. I said, that's not what I want.
Exactly.
Okay. I want better than that. And he said, yes, okay. And we can do that. Okay, we can put you back there because they are going to go down and you're going to feel better on them. And actually, it's very safe as long as we exclude prostate cancer and the severe cardiovascular issues.
Yeah, you do panels on them that they've never had before.
Yeah,
Your
that's
blood
true.
panels are like beyond.
Yeah. So anyway, it's just the whole idea. But no, I don't want to be normal for my age. I love a comment that Tom Ford made it was Tom Ford designer, right?
Yeah.
Okay. He was being interviewed, and somebody said, "You look great now. You see, I stopped smoking, stopped drinking ever since I got married, et cetera, et cetera." And he said, "But you look really younger than your years." And he said, "But that's not what I'm trying to do. I just want to be best in class, and just the best you can be."
Yeah.
It's not a competition.
No. But isn't it interesting that we're not talking about optimization? We're just talking about, you and I are. The three of us are talking about optimization, but that's not the standard.
No, it's not.
It's not.
Yeah, you look fine. You look good.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. You'll get used to your menopause weight.
That's horrible. That is horrible.
I thought so too. Thank you for that.
No, because that weight just comes on. It feels like it's overnight.
It feels like it is overnight.
You don't feel good in your clothes
No.
anymore. You put your clothes on. All you want to do is take your clothes off.
Yeah, and all you want to do is hide. And I couldn't hide. I called myself Mickey Mouse at that spin studio because it was always a milestone ride or somebody's birthday. Yes. So like the journey of Kayla putting on the LBs was just right there for the world to see. And all I wanted to do was not be photographed. It was awful.
And that reminds me of your fun fact.
My fun fact.
The
light to be naked?
It's written in here. I have it.
The light to be naked?
Yeah.
In private.
In private. Which is interesting because my dad was a nudist.
Oh, wow.
He's no longer with us. He's past 12 years now, but 14 heart attacks.
Wow.
Why? So anyway, yeah, I do. I love to be naked. Even fuller Kayla like to be naked.
But
it's more fun now.
What does the in private mean? Like when no one's home?
No, just so we have the sauna, we have a cold plunge, we have a hot tub. So I love to lay in the sun for 5 minutes because my skin can't handle it, but just for 5 minutes, just naked. I just love like that warmth on my skin. I'm not necessarily walking around my house naked, but it's more about being outside in the backyard.
Yeah.
But I do live right off of State Street. So it might be a bit of a fishbowl. So yeah, I just love just being outside, and we have an outdoor shower, just like that outside.
Outdoor showers are great.
Yeah. But you're not going to find me on a nudist beach or anything. I'm not taking it that far. No. But I do think it's funny though that my dad, literally my first marriage, my dad would come and visit and he would be naked in our home. And my ex-husband, bless his heart, Steve, he would come home and say, "Seriously, Kayla, I could have had a customer with me. Your dad has got to keep his clothes on." And we had a glass dining table.
Even worse.
Glass dining table. I just what a lunatic he was. Anyway. Yeah, I come by it honestly, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Well, thanks for listening. We're getting really good feedback. We'd really appreciate a review on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or wherever you're listening. Thank you. You can always DM the Vagina Doctor Instagram with any questions or topics you'd like to learn more about, or email us. The Vagina Doctor Podcast. It all starts here.